They sold my 40-acre ranch while I was burying my father. $1, that's all it took for 3 generations of my family's work. My name's Garrett Murdoch. 52 years old, 3rd-generation cattle rancher. Up until 6 weeks ago, I thought I knew how my story would end right here, on Broken Antler Ranch. The same land my grandfather carved out of the Colorado foothills in 1961. I thought I'd grow old fixing fence lines and watching the sun bleed over the ridges like he did. But life doesn't always wait for you to finish grieving. While I was standing over my father's grave, someone filed a quitclaim deed transferring our ranch my inheritance for $1 single. Dad fought pancreatic cancer for 18 brutal months. I spent those last weeks in hospice, holding his hand while he told the same stories, how he and Grandpa built the barn with a borrowed pickup and nothing but stubbornness. When he passed, I buried him with my own hands. The dirt under my fingernails, head, and tea even dried when I came home to find a code enforcement notice stapled to our gate. Right beside it, a voicemail from the HOA president, a woman I'd barely met, sweetly saying, "Garrett, we really need to discuss your property situation. That situation turned out to be the biggest con of my life, 5 years earlier. Some developer bought the land next to a sold BLM ground and turned it into a suburb called Sage Valley Estates. 142 identical beige houses with fake stone accents and manicured lawns. Every one of them under HOA control. My ranch sat right in the middle of their perfect little world, like an oil stain on a white shirt. They called it an eyesore. I called it home. The HOA president, let's just call her, DA, was a former real estate agent who believed every problem could be fixed with paperwork and power. To her, Broken Antler wasn't a heritage, it was a future opportunity. When my father got sick, she saw her opening. While I was living out of a hospice room, she circulated a petition claiming my ranch was abandoned, unsafe, and hurting community property values. She gathered almost 90 signatures, most of them thinking they were signing up for better snow removal. 2 weeks after Dad's funeral, I found out she'd filed it with the county. That night, standing in Dad's empty bedroom, I saw the old photo of us mending fence together, both of us sunburned, laughing. I made a promise. No one steals what my father built. A few days later, a certified letter arrived, citing an easement from 1987 that supposedly gave the HOA access to my creek for landscaping and beautification. 14 days to comply or face enforcement. It sounded official, quoting state statutes and all. But Dad used to tell me, never trust what they tell you, go see for yourself. So I drove to the county clerk's office, old paper, burnt coffee, fluorescent Hammond, dug through the microfilm myself. $12 in copies later, I had the truth. The easement was for a gas company, expired 2 decades ago. Pure fiction. That's when I realized this wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a setup. I filed public records requests. Emails, correspondence, meeting notes, anything with my ranch's name. When the documents came back, I found a chain between DA and a county planner. They were timing inspections, coordinating complaints, building a paper trail to make it look like I'd abandoned the property. Then came the line that froze my blood. Once we establish access, the rest is easy. You'll sell or we'll foreclose. Foreclose? On what? The ranch was paid off years ago. I sat there in my truck, sunlight too bright, hands shaking, and across the street, I saw her white SUV pull into Starbucks. She got out, laughing, with that same county planner. Toasting lattes, celebrating. That night, I looked her up online. Her daughter Sienna was an aspiring wellness influencer who just moved back home after a failed career. Her latest post stopped me cold. A photo taken on my east pasture, arms spread wide, captioned, "Future site of Sage Valley Retreat and Wellness Center." There it was. Proof they thought they already owned my land. I called my cousin Tully, a title investigator in Denver. He said, "Don't tip your hand. Document everything. Let them get cocky." That night, I cleared a corner of the barn, pinned documents to plywood, walls, survey, stakes, even screenshots of their posts. Red string connecting names, dates, motives, my own investigation board. They wanted Broken Antler. They'd have to go through me. 23 days after Dad's funeral, I found the document that made me sick, a quitclaim deed. Transferring Broken Antler Ranch from EMTT Murdoch, deceased, to the HOA for $1. Filed by DA herself, they had forged my father's signature. The notary stamp came from a UPS store 60 miles away. I nearly dropped my phone. See, county clerks don't verify signatures. They just file what's given to them. It's a loophole that thieves love, especially between death and probate. They gambled that I'd be too broken to notice. For a while, they were right. The sheriff called it a civil matter, so I scraped together what savings I had and hired Margot Villand, a lawyer in Colorado Springs who looked like she'd been forged in caffeine and fire. Her verdict? The deed's invalid, but unwinding it will take time and money. Lots of both. Then she smiled, lest we let them dig their own hole deeper. She showed me proof the HOA had paid my property taxes trying to fake ownership. It's a common tactic, but done wrong, it's just evidence of intent. That's when I knew I wasn't alone in this fight. 2 days later, I got an eviction notice taped to my door. Vacate within 72 hours. You are residing on HOA property without authorization. I didn't respond. Instead, I called my old welding buddy Rafe. I need a fence, I told him. 12 feet high, iron, code compliant, but with a message. By Saturday morning, we were welding steel under the rising sun. 1,200 feet of raw iron, matte black, perfectly legal. Every 50 feet, the metalwork spelled out the state forgery statute number, like an iron reminder of what they'd done. By Sunday evening, the whole neighborhood stood filming, as the fence rose 12 feet of go to hell in architectural form. When DA arrived, shouting about community aesthetics, I lifted my welding mask and said, "I'm not in your community." Days later, she shut off the shared water line and chained it.
Oh.
I didn't touch it. I just documented serial numbers, GPS coordinates, everything. But then something unexpected happened. Homeowners started coming forward, couples saying they'd signed petitions without knowing what for. Others wondering why dues kept rising, why meetings went members only. A retired accountant named Porter requested financial records his legal right. 10 days later, he brought me a folder and a look that said everything. She'd been funneling HOA money into legal expenses for this takeover. The neighborhood turned on her overnight. The next morning, I woke to find my cattle missing. Leavenhead gone, gate wide open, tire ruts in the mud. My cameras caught it all 3 people, loading them up, one clearly her daughter's teal truck. The deputy filed it as felony livestock theft. It would take time, but this time, I had the evidence. That night, I filed my own challenge on the fraudulent deed, timed perfectly with Porter's financial complaint and Margot's legal filing. By the end of the month, the county and the DA's office were both investigating. When the dust settled, that fraudulent deed was voided. HOA president removed, and several of her associates faced criminal charges. I didn't celebrate. I just walked the fence line, hand on cool iron, wind carrying the smell of sage and soil, and said, "We did it, Dad." People think the system's rigged for the powerful, and most days it feels that way. But sometimes, if you stay patient and document everything, truth still wins inch by inch. If someone ever tries to take what's yours, don't fight with anger. Fight with evidence. And always check the records yourself. So that's how they sold my family ranch for $1. And how I bought my peace back with patience, steel, and the truth. Tell me, what would you do if someone tried to steal your inheritance while you grieved? Let me know in the comments, and subscribe if you believe the system can still be beaten with grit and proof.